Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Now, as the holiday season is approaching, you know that I could not let it pass by without creating another Mithai flavoring. So in today's video, I'm really excited to roll out my gingerbread Mithai. That's right guys, I said gingerbread Mithai. I really have been enjoying playing around with different flavoring agents and different things to put into the traditional Mithai just to make it a little different. And this gingerbread Mithai was honestly to die for. So if you guys want something a little different for this holiday season versus your traditional gingerbread cookies, I definitely think you guys should give this a try. So let's get into it. So what we're going to do is start off with all of our dried ingredients. So in a big bowl, I have some all-purpose flour, and I'm also going in with some baking powder. Whenever making Mithai, you always want to go in with just a little bit of baking powder, so this way it can have a little puff to it and a little bit of fluffiness. Now at this point, I'm also going to go in with some ground cinnamon. Now for gingerbread cookies, ground cinnamon and the molasses is what gives it that dark color, so that's what you're going to need in this recipe. So after you go in with your cinnamon, you are going to go in with some other spices. I am also going to go in with some ginger powder, and if you wanted to use freshly grated ginger, feel free to do that and be my guest if you really like that pungent taste. I just wanted to go ahead and use dried because I know it's more accessible to everybody. So after we go in with that dried ginger, we're also going to go in with a little bit of ground cloves, and after that I'm also going to go in with a little bit of freshly ground nutmeg. And no matter what flavor of Mithai that I am making, I always go in with some custard powder. The reason why you gotta go in with this custard powder is to really ensure that that Mithai has a beautiful, soft, and fluffy texture to it when it is done cooking. And once you go in with all of those dried ingredients, you're gonna go in with some very clean hands and you're gonna keep on mixing everything together until it is well combined. And once I mix in all of my dried ingredients, I'm gonna go in with my unsalted butter that is cold and that I've chopped up into chunks. You wanna cut them pretty small so this way it's easier for you to rub them into the flour and get a really nice crumbly and sandy texture. And again, it should be cold because if it's not cold, then your Mithai won't be nice and flaky and fluffy on the inside. And at this point, we are going to go in with some condensed milk. Now, the reason why I'm using condensed milk in this recipe today is because I'm not making a sugar syrup to go over the Mithai. I'm just going to be coating it in the condensed milk and powdered sugar. So the inside needs to be a little sweet in order for that sweetness to balance out with the condensed and powdered sugar on the outside. And as soon as you add your condensed milk in, you're going to go in with your molasses. Now the molasses is 100% optional. I just wanted to add it in because not only does it give that really authentic gingerbread taste, but it also gives it a really dark and rich brown color in the middle. And once you start mixing in that condensed milk as well as the molasses, you're also going to go in with a little bit of vanilla extract. Now you can use vanilla extract or whatever other type of extract that you want. You can even omit it, but I like to use vanilla just because in a gingerbread cookie recipe, usually there is some vanilla as well. So I'm just going to continue mixing this mixture really well, and I'm going to keep on adding in some evaporated milk at this point to bring it all together into a soft dough. Now when making Mithai, you do not want something that's super soft, and you don't want something that's very hard because it will not fry properly either way. So you want like a semi-hard, semi-soft dough, and I'll show you guys exactly what that looks like when this comes together. And this is exactly what you guys are looking for, a beautiful soft dough. It is not sticky at all and it is not too hard either. If the dough's too hard, then it'll crack up in the oil when it's cooking, and when you toss it with the condensed milk and powdered sugar at the end, it will fall apart. So make sure that you make it soft enough, but not too soft. I allowed my dough to rest for just about 10 minutes just because I wanted those glutens to relax and I wanted a really soft and flaky Mithai in the end. So after it sat for about 5 to 10 minutes, I went ahead and I sprinkled some flour over it, and I'm going to roll it out really well. Now you guys are going to see what happens to the ends of the Mithai as I roll it out. You're going to see that it starts to crack up a little bit, starts to break apart a little bit. That is totally fine. That usually happens when you're making Mithai, and it's something that you can fix. All you have to do is make sure that you're pinching the sides back together, because if you were to fry it like this, they're gonna fall apart and crack on you. A few of you guys have sent me pictures of your Mithai and it tends to fall apart and it becomes a little bit of a disaster, but all you have to do is keep on pinching the sides together, roll it out evenly and as thin or as thick as you would like. and then you can go ahead and start the cutting process. So for my mithai today, I wanted to make like these little circular shapes. So I'm using a mini round cookie cutter, and I'm going to keep on cutting out little circles of my mithai. Now I just decided to do this today just to make it a little fun, different shapes, and to switch it up a little bit. But by all means, if you did not want to do this, you could go ahead and just cut it with a pizza cutter and cut them into the traditional square and triangle shapes. You can also cut them as small or as big as you want. The only thing that I will say is do not make this dough too thin, like don't roll it out too thin, because if you do, when it cooks, it will tend to harden up really quick when it is done cooking. You want a nice fluffy and flaky mithai in the end. So with that batch of dough that I cut out all of these circles from, I'm just gathering up all of the loose ends and the scraps from the piece of dough. I'm going to bring them all back together and I'm going to set it to the side, and once I'm done frying this batch, I'll go ahead and roll this piece of dough back out and cut out some more circles. None of this dough is going to waste. All you need to do is keep on bringing it back together, rolling and cutting. So I have my oil, it is vegetable oil, heating up on about a medium to medium high heat. I will say you want it more in the medium side so this way these don't burn. Remember, they have the molasses and the condensed milk on the inside, so if you were to cook them on too much of a high heat, they're going to be very dark on the outside, almost burnt, and then they're going to be raw on the inside. So make sure you guys are careful when you are frying these and keep that oil regulated. But all you're going to go ahead and do is put in a handful of your mithais. Make sure you do this in batches and don't overcrowd the oil, because if you overcrowd the oil, they are going to start to break up in the oil and they're also going to absorb a lot of oil, which is not what you want. So I'm going to fry these for just about 3 minutes because they're so tiny. If you were making them bigger, maybe 3 to 4 minutes, but this is the perfect timing for me. So I'm going to keep on cooking them until they are beautiful dark brown color all over. This is what my mithai looks like after frying for about 3 minutes, and at this point I'm going to take them out of the oil, drain them, and put them on a plate that I have lined with some paper towels just to get off some of that excess oil. Once all of your mithai is done, you do not even need to let it cool for a long time. All you need to do is get all of those pieces into a nice big bowl with lots of space, and you're going to pour over a little bit of condensed milk and a little bit of powdered sugar. Now the amount of condensed milk and powdered sugar that you put onto your mithai is as per your taste and as per your preferences. Some people like a very thick coating and some people like a very thin coating, and they do not like it too sweet. So make this as per your own taste and preferences. I'm going on with what I will say is about a 1/4 cup of the condensed milk and probably about 5 to 6 tablespoons of my powdered sugar for this entire batch. Again, I'll leave all of my ingredients and measurements in the description box down below, so when you're putting this together, you can go ahead and do it very easily and simply. But once you get your powdered sugar and condensed milk poured all over those little pieces of mithai, you're going to keep on tossing it up until they are well coated. Now, little tips for you guys. If you are noticing that the mixture is too wet and the coating is not forming, all you have to do is keep on adding in some powdered sugar. The only reason that is happening is because you put a little bit too much condensed milk for the amount of powdered sugar. So just go ahead and keep on gauging it and adding more or less condensed milk or powdered sugar as you need it. So this right here is my finished gingerbread mithai. All I'm doing is tossing up that bowl a little bit just to break up any pieces that are stuck together. And as you guys can see, they look absolutely beautiful. They're like little tidbits or little donut holes. And when you bit into one of these, oh my god, the flavor is just like a gingerbread cookie and it tastes amazing. So here is the finished mithai all served up and ready to eat. If you enjoyed this recipe today, please go ahead and give it a nice big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed yet. Make sure you come on over and join the Matthew's Guyanese cooking family. And if you click that little bell notification icon right next to the red subscribe button, you're going to be notified every time I post my newest videos, and you'll never miss out on my cooking journey. And of course, keep leaving your comments down below. And I hope you all have a healthy, a safe, and a beautiful holiday season. Remember guys, we are still under a pandemic, so please be safe, social distance, wear your mask, take all precautions necessary, and just be safe so we can all make it to a beautiful 2021. I'll see you guys again very soon.